Hi guys, okay, so today I'm doing a vlog at Tikal in Guatemala, which is one of the ancient Mayan ruins. It's like a huge park and we have a guided tour. So I'm here in like the flores peten region because I'm doing a veterinary program if you haven't seen any of my other videos. And so part of our like price is an overnight stay here. So we just checked in, got our tickets, and we're about to have a walking tour. Mask laws, even outside, are a thing here in Guatemala, so I will have my mask on like this whole tour. But yeah, so it's a walking tour. We're about to head that way, and we're just waiting for everyone in our group to like check in because we had to like buy our tickets before. It has to come from like an official bank, like you have to show your passport and everything. And it's 150 quetzales, which is, I don't know the math off the top of my head. I'll like have it here in the video. But yeah, so we're about to get started. I don't know if I'll narrate or what because it's a 4-hour tour, but just know we're about to get started. Okay, so our guide says that we're taking a shortcut, which also this is like in a protected like forest of Guatemala, like many of them are. And he said, you know, there's so many temples, so we're just taking a shortcut because there's so many crowds and everything.
If you pay attention up there, it's a flat top building, okay? When you see one building with there, like with the flat top, and a stairway to the first side, we call pyramid, astronomical place. Inside the buildings are totally solid, but when they work, yeah, solid. When they work, they need to looking for layers, because sometimes tempo over tempo over tempo over tempo. That's the reason they need to looking for those examples. And also they can find graffitis in paintings as well. For example, places like here, suddenly when they work, they can find evidence about graffitis about turtle and butterfly, mariposa. The Mayas, they represent Orion like a turtle, Venus like a butterfly. That's why when you read Mayan information in one book or in internet, Mayan history, and you are reading about turtle or butterfly, you are reading about constellations according to the Mayas. And then when the archaeologists, they need to want looking for offerings like ceramic, obsidian, or jade, they need to go like 6 meters down underneath of the building, or a little bit more meters, when they can find evidence about obsidian, jade, or ceramic, for example. And the big ones, they use like one kind of newspaper, just information of the day, the week, of the month. When finished those days, they use new plaster, new information, new plaster, new information. And the altars, offerings. When we can see cacao seeds, we can see flowers offerings, we can see a snake, monkey, jaguars. Mayan history is very exotic. Sometimes we can see humans on those altars. Offerings, sacrifices. That's when you can see somebody there facing up and another people facing out the horse. When they climb the building, they show that to the gods like a present.
So they said that like, well, obviously Guatemala has like one of the most countries that still have Mayan descendants. And so if you see that flat altar right there, there's still current Mayans who like come and do the offerings here. And so he said sometimes you'll see fresh ashes. He said that we're allowed to climb this one, so we're about to head up it. And yeah. It's so steep. And that's a temple across here, he said.
75% of Tikal is like there, like this. Yeah, digging like you can see a little bit some blocks over there. Yeah. Part of the step. 70%. 75%. 75%. They need to evaluate the building. They count how many trees on the building. There are like 50 trees. The project said you need to cut just 20. It's when they decide whether they decide to rescue the face, the back, or just the top. And then when they cut those trees, they need to wait more or less 4 years or a little bit more, waiting the roots of the trees get dry. And then it's much better to work. But they spend another 5 years or 10 years or more years. Sometimes just working in one building, they can work like 10 years. It's very, very slow job. If you don't have patience, I don't recommend archaeology. More brushes in the same place like 1 year or 2 years, but it's very hard and a slow job. There are a lot of buildings like that, you'll see later, okay? And always we can find a hieroglyph with the name Katum. Katum in Maya means 20 years. They decide to build the complexes of gemelas every Katum, every 20 years. They decide to use a decimal system as well. And in places like temples or pyramids, we can see some graffitis as well, representation of the status, high-class people. For example, it's easy to recognize high-class people. The men, they use a very big headdress, sometimes a jaguar face, monkey face, jade, of sea. They decide to use a flat forehead, status, beauty. That's why if you pay attention to the stela, you can see flat forehead, or in museums, sometimes you can see a ceramic, mommy with babies, using a one kind of mask, or a piece of wood here, another piece of wood there, and then pressing to get a flat forehead during when they were children. Yes, and the woman is easy as well. They use a small headdress, not too big, no flat forehead, but they appear with two lines here. In Maya we call ish. Ish means muchacha, mujer, lady, for example. We don't know exactly if it was a tattoo or just colors, for example. But two lines here, that's a woman, okay?
Okay, so he just kind of like went over like how they would like the status of the people, and like apparently like when you were born, you got your status tattooed on you. And so he was like kind of how now like you can work and change your social class and stuff. Like back then, if you were born a slave, you'd always be a slave. If you were born royalty, you'd always be royalty. And the same, like he said, like status and beautiful or beauty was like a flat head. So he showed us a picture on his phone of like the thing they used to like flatten your skull, and there were no metals here, so there was no gold and silver. It's just jade and obsidian. And so they would like put it in your teeth. You would wear earrings and stuff, and that was status. And then the priest always wore something hanging, and those were like the main people. And then just too like how the buildings worked and everything. And so there were twin pyramids, east and west, built every 20 years. And the east one was where like main news and the main one was, and all the main information. And then there was a twin across from it. And so now he said we're heading to like one of the main areas of Tikal. So they said that like the demise of the Mayans happened in like 900 AD, just because there's no river here, there's no lake, there's no cenotes, and the closest lake is like 60 kilometers away. But they said that, you know, they continue to come back here for altars and rituals and stuff, and that's why people still continue to come back now. And they said that, oh, hold on.
Meditation area. la parte de meditación. Just only the king or the priest is the only people that they have the opportunity to come here to pray.
Now we're going to see some of the houses, up more stairs. But yeah, but what I was saying is that that's why like the Mayans like dispersed all throughout Guatemala. Like archaeologists have said that in any 20 or 30 kilometers that you go, there's some type of ruins of Mayans. You just have to know, and they're not all like the huge stone temples. Sometimes they're just like hills or like very pointed hills, and that's actually like old Mayan establishments. So we have about 45 minutes to just explore. And so this one's called, oh, we can keep going. I'm just like narrating. We have about 45 minutes to explore, and this was called like the Grand Plaza. And so that's one you can't climb. It's like the most famous one. It's called the Jaguar Temple. The one right across from it that is blocked by this hut, I forgot what he called that one, but we can walk up some. These stairs are huge. Like, look how big. Like, this one's small. These stairs are big. Like, and I swear they said back in the day people used to be small. People probably had to use their arms to climb up these stairs. But he said that the park that you can explore is only like 16 kilometers long, but the whole Tikal, like Mayan civilization, was over 570 square kilometers. And also, nobody's wearing a mask in here. I don't know why I'm trying to suffocate myself. And he said the population was over 100,000 people, which 100,000 might not seem big, especially if you're from a big city like where I'm from, Atlanta, and there's like millions of people, but 100,000 is big. Put in perspective, the place that's always close to home to me is Grenada, where I go to school, and their population is just over 100,000, and that's a modern day 2021, population of a small island, but still. And so I feel like a lot of times, history tries to downplay like the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Incas, and these were like powerful societies. Like when we passed the residential area back there, he said that you were very like lucky to live like near the plaza. Many people lived, away, and not many residential areas like survived to be like seen now. So we're just exploring. I really like history like this. Like I don't like American history or even like European history. I love African and like Central and South American history. It's like so interesting because I feel like all of history tries to play the white savior, and I feel like no one ever talks about like how smart people were to make civilizations like this, and the tools and technology and stuff they had, and now they can interpret the weather and the calendars and everything. So I'm loving this. Really big for like supposedly people in the past to be such small people. Like one stair is almost to my knee. Like one stair is like almost up to my knee. These are huge. Here's another pyramid.
Are we all there?
Huh? Yeah, we can. He said that like in the Mayan culture, like, you know, they believed there was a period where they believed in one god, there was a period when they believed in multiple gods, and so that's where you see the different masks, kind of like the one I showed down below. And he said, you know, later there were like mixes of like Mayan religion and Catholic, and so he said even at like some Catholic churches, Catholic, I'm American, church, I know, right? At some Catholic churches, you'll see like them still performing like rituals and sacrifices and everything, because like they've just mixed. So, and even now, he said there's still about 22 traditional Mayan like families, descendants. You have the mestizos, which are the mixes. And then he told me the other descendants, I don't remember how to say them, and I'm not about to sit here and pretend like I do. But so yeah. So this is the highest temple, and I think we're gonna climb it. I believe it's called the Temple of the Serpent, or Serpiente. And he said it's the best panoramic view. You can see the Grand Plaza where we just came from and some of the other temples. And he said it's famous from Star Wars because the spaceship came like very close and it showed like Tikal. So I don't know which Star Wars it was because I'm not a Star Wars fan. I think I heard the other day it's like Star Wars 4 or something. Don't freaking know. But we're walking. We're gonna climb that. This is leg day, man. Like, it's hot and there's a lot of stairs, but we're gonna climb it. I did the stair machine so much before I left. Didn't prepare me for anything I've yet to do in Guatemala. I know these stairs and slopes. Okay, we made it to the top, almost, but we're off the stairs. We're like, can't go all the way up, but I'm trying. Let's see if I can. We made it up here. Whew. You can definitely see a nice view. The canopy, you can see the top of the Mayan ruins and everything. So we're just gonna take a break up here on all these things. Whew. Okay, so this is the oldest structure, he said, in Tikal. Yeah, it's really large. He said we can climb it, but everyone in my group did not. So it's the Grand Pyramid, and there's 3 smaller ones behind it. I don't know if we'll be able to see it or not, but there's 3 behind it. He also mentioned about the Mayan calendar and the one that was set to end in 2012, and the whole world was freaking out because they thought the world was going to end. And he said, but the Mayans knew that it wasn't the end of the Mayan calendar. It was just the end of that Mayan calendar. And it was the last one that they made. And it ended in 2012. But all of the calendars are 360 days long. And it was just not another one made after. It wasn't made to say the world was going to end. And he was just like, yeah, he was like, it's something that the Mayans laughed about, you know, because you looked on the internet and it said the world was ending. But we're walking on back. He said we're going to pass through the Grand Plaza one more time. And I think shortly after we're done. Okay, so we're at the end of our tour. We're just walking out now, walking back to our hotel because there is a hotel like on the property of Tikal. Again, because it's over 500 square miles. But yeah, so we're just walking back there. We're about to get some lunch. There's a pool there, and we haven't had hot water in our shower for over a week now because there's no hot water at our program. So looking forward to taking a nice shower later. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. And until next time.